This is the way you get things off your chest and kind of just get the rage out when something's bothering, when something's on your mind. So without further ado, we're going to get you to a segment we haven't done in a while, and that's Scotty A. Smith coming in hot. Let's get it.
This one was probably predictable, guys. Chris asked me earlier today, and he's like, hey, do you maybe have it coming in hot? And I'm like, no, not really. And then I'm driving home, and all of a sudden, Comin, of all people, puts in our Discord chat. He's like, he puts in a thing about, McCarthy being retained. And I thought, of all people, Comin's messing with me. Like, if anybody's going to mess with us, Comin's going to be the guy that's like, it's a joke, it's not real. There's no way the Cowboys are bringing Mike McCarthy back. Not for a second after the defeat. Embarrassing fashion against the Packers this last weekend. Is Mike McCarthy going to be back? Comin wasn't playing. Mike McCarthy's back, and I immediately messaged Chris. I'm like, well, now, without even thinking about what I'm going to say, I got to come in hot. What the fuck, Jerry? Jerry! What are we doing?
Bruh.
You don't have a ton of time here, Jerry. And maybe that's why he's like continuity or some stupid thing like that. How'd that work out for the Packers? Mike McCarthy has a tremendous regular season record. But Mike McCarthy has coached for two quarterbacks in his league, in his years of coaching. Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott. And you know what he is in the playoffs? He's 11-11. You know what he's been with the Cowboys? 3 straight years of 12-5. 1-3 in the postseason. They beat a dead Tom Brady Bucs team last year, but every other year they just fall flat. 1-3 in the postseason. Usually lose in not a close, like, this could have gone either way. Like, Jerry in his press release today literally said, I feel like we're really close. Really close to what, Jerry? Really close to what? You lost by 16, and the game wasn't even that close. At home in the wild card round to the last team that made the playoffs in the NFC. And you're really close? Next year's just going to go better? You're probably losing Dan Quinn, your defensive coordinator. That's just going to be fine. You'll just replace him with someone else. Mike McCarthy's some sort of genius because he won 1 Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, which is, by the way, an underachievement for that stretch of Aaron Rodgers in his prime. Should have won certainly 2, if not 3, if not 4 Super Bowls, and he won 1. And then you only made it to 1. No one liked the McCarthy hire when it happened. I don't give a shit if McCarthy wins 17 or regular season games next year. I don't care if they go 17-0. It's still the wrong hire. He's already fired. He's fired without being fired, because when they don't win next year, he's going to be fired. And guess what? The coaching pool next year ain't going to be like this one. You got Belichick sitting there. You got Harbaugh potentially sitting there. You got Mike Vrabel sitting there. Pete Carroll, if you want. Maybe too old, but like, you got dudes. This coaching pool is the best it's been in forever if you believe in your roster. But you're just going to hang with Mike McCarthy. You're not serious about winning, Jerry. Like, I thought Jerry turned a corner this year because obviously Jerry's a big personality. And so he wants a coach that he can control a little bit. And McCarthy, he can control. But when he finally, after fucking forever, put Jimmy Johnson on their Ring of Fame in the stadium this year, I was like, maybe he realizes it's not about who he can control. It's about who's going to get the damn job done and get him another ring. And Jimmy did that for him, and he resented him for forever after it, he didn't like him, whatever. But Jimmy got you 3 rings, Jerry. And you've been sitting, you rode Jason Garrett to the grave. You rode him for forever, and now he's out of the league. He's now a commentator for a backup commentator for NBC. You're now going to ride Mike McCarthy to the grave. Like, owners sometimes just pass out in beds, cold and almost, not awake to the touch. Just ask Jim Irsay.
Bruh.
You don't have a lot of time, Jerry. And people are like, I saw comparisons to Mike Tomlin. Oh, Mike Tomlin and Mike McCarthy have like almost the same regular season record and same postseason record, and they both have won Super Bowl. I told Rec before this stream, I said, I finally agree with you on Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin should be fired by the Steelers. But it's not for the reason Rec would say. It's not because the Mike Tomlin's not a good coach. It's because the Steelers with Mike Tomlin are now in purgatory. They're stuck at being mediocre because they have a shit roster with no quarterback. Not a shit roster, but they don't have a quarterback. And Mike Tomlin's too good of a coach for them to be high enough in the draft to get a good quarterback. So they're going to have these same results where they squeak into the playoffs and they lose, and then they don't. They draft a desperation Kenny Pickett or something. That's why they should fire Mike Tomlin. They got to reboot. They got to be bad for a little bit in Pittsburgh. Dallas doesn't need to be bad. Dallas's roster is far better than Pittsburgh's right now. Mike McCarthy, like I said, has had Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott. Mike Tomlin's had Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, Ben Roethlisberger on his deathbed where he couldn't throw it further than 5 yards, and still has a great record. These coaches are not close at how good they are. But both should be fired. One, because Dallas needs to win now, and two, because Pittsburgh needs to reboot a little bit and find a quarterback. Because without a quarterback, I don't care how good your coach is. Their rosters has some good aspects, obviously, but a lot of weak aspects. But damn it, I was so blown away and shocked by the news of Dallas retaining Mike McCarthy, and I'm heartbroken because I want Dallas to be there. I'm one of the few. I'm not a hater against Dallas. I have friends that are Dallas Cowboy fans. I want to see them succeed. I want to make them get back to the greatness that they were and make a NFC title game, a Super Bowl, whatever that may be. But Mike McCarthy's not that guy. Why? There's so many better options right now. Damn you, Jerry. And damn you, Cowboys. Congratulations on going 12-5 next year and losing in the wild card or division round because you just sealed your fate. And oh, by the way, Mike McCarthy will be fired next year when he doesn't get it done inevitably. And I'm out.
There it is. Coming in hot. Scotty A. Smith bringing it. We got everything in that. We had Jim Irsay catching some strays on that one as well. You had me on that one. I was like, we didn't talk about that earlier. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That was also reportedly due to a drug overdose, which maybe Jerry will.
Yeah. But it's the same old thing, right? Like the same old thing. Like we talk about this not being the guy because he's not.
You're not that guy, pal.
You're
not that guy.
He's basically gonna give you this same product. We talk about all these other, things that we see every single year from the Chargers, from all these other like Lamar, great regular season. We see the same shit, so we have nothing else to go off of but the same results, and we keep getting the same result every single year from this coach. And to your point, there's so many good coaches available. It's crazy. STG, still the best segment in all of ActionLab. Drafts are a distant second. Hey, fair enough.
My man.
There we go. We get it. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
There you go.